My name is Jima. I'm 28 years old and I'm a midwife. The reason I wanted to start investing in property is to start my own generational wealth. My parents came here in 1995 as asylum seekers from Iran. So they came in their late 20s, and although they tried very hard and they provided everything for me and my sibling, it was very difficult for them. So basically I want to provide that generational wealth for my children one day and just try and get ahead basically. It was all like fate. I honestly feel like everything just aligned really well. I was back and forth about my investment journey, what I wanted to do, and that my parents came here as asylum seekers, so they had no idea about property investment, and although they did own their own home, they didn't have any background on how to get into the market for myself. They don't have any financial advisors or brokers or anything, so it was really me starting from scratch. I read a few books, financial books, property investment books, and just one day I was in Bondi and soul searching, I don't know. I was in Bondi and I went to the bookstore and I just saw Eddie's book and I was like, oh cool, 30 properties before 30, I'm almost 30, I just thought it was interesting. So I read Eddie's book and I feel I really connected with Eddie. He was, he says in the book, he was from Mount Druitt, his parents migrated here, and it was very challenging for him growing up, so I really felt maybe he understood where I was coming from as well. And then just by chance I spoke to one of my colleagues and I was telling her about the book, and she said that her and her partner had invested with Eddie, had gone through Eddie's company. She raved on about him and said, they've had really good success and they've been able to pull a lot of equity from the properties that they've purchased through him. So that just gave me the big confidence boost to just go ahead. And that's just how I fell into it. Good, the sales team were really good at pitching everything that Eddie did offer. I've actually spoken to a couple of different buyers agents, and the sales team were just had no idea what they were doing. So I found just from the beginning, Eddie's team was great. They were good at outlining everything. And then everybody coordinating Eddie, property presentation with Eddie, they were really great. And then getting through to Eddie was great too. But despite him having things going on in his personal life, he was still going, he was still working, he went to Perth. Amongst all that, he was really great and still trying to source me the property that I wanted. And the sales, the acquisition team, fantastic. I could not fault them. They're through this whole process, when you go through a buyer's agent as a first time property investor, you almost want your hand to be held the whole way. I thought I was going to get that from Eddie and I didn't, which was fine because obviously he's very busy, but the acquisitions team were outstanding. They organized everything, building and pest inspection. My bank wanted a formal valuation, so they organized that for me as well. They were just every step of the way, they helped me with everything, which was fantastic. So yeah, I'm very happy with the team. The main thing I've achieved is learning a lot. I've learned a lot about how to get into a property and how easy it is. I think if the one thing I took away was I realized how easy it is to get in and buy your first property, and ultimately I've been able to buy my first property. So if I've achieved anything, I was able to buy my first property, which is fantastic. I secured a 1-bedroom unit in Perth. So I believe it's 9 kilometers from the Perth CBD and right next to the airport. Population growth, the capital growth is great. People are really skeptical about buying a 1-bedroom unit, but when you look at all the numbers, it is really worthwhile. So I'm very happy with what we got. Equity, we don't know just yet. I'm currently in the process of refinancing with Picker Financial. We only settled in January 12th, so it's very recent. But the property is renting for $470 a week. I'm with Dilleen Property Management as well. So gross, it's a net 9% rental yield, which is really great. I'm not paying anything on top. I don't know about equity just yet, but I am in the process and probably going to buy another in the next couple of months. Ridiculous, but I've, exactly as Eddie's new book says, 10 properties really fast. I just want to get as many as I can before things start going up again, cycling upwards. But yeah, I would really like to achieve 10 properties in the next 5 years, if not sooner. Knowing Eddie's method is all you need to know, and he's got lots of YouTube videos up at the moment about how you can use your equity to buy not 1 but 2 properties that are going to benefit you and how you use them to keep purchasing more. So I think in his new book it's just going to outline how he's done that, but I will be reading it at some stage. Read the book. Read 30 Properties by 30. It will give you a lot of faith and understanding. That's what I just keep telling my friends. I just keep saying, read his book. He's just a real person. He's just like us, grew up just like us, because a lot of us from Western Sydney are just how do we do it? How do we get into the market? It's not that hard. You just have to read between the lines and follow the guidance. It's not that hard as long as you take the right guidance. And I always said to my friends, I always wanted my first property to be the right one, because it's going to set you up. It's going to set up your investment journey, and it's the foundation of your investment journey. So I always said, like, justifying myself as to why I went through a buyer's agent. You don't want to mess up your first property. You want to buy the right one. That's ultimately why I went through Eddie.